Life is super awesome forevermore. With that vision and intent, I welcome you all to Super Positivity One on One, a platform where anyone can ask anyone in the world 10 inspiring questions on superpositivity. My name is Niddhi Gupta, and I am a director of the Superpositivity movement. Today, I am in the presence of Vickrant Mahajan, who is a super positivator, as in, he motivates people to be super positive. Thank you, Vikrant, for sharing your super positive energy with us today.
Thank you, Niddhi. I'm blessed, really blessed. Yes, thank you.
My first super positive question to you is: in life, what are you most grateful for?
So, in my life, I'm immeasurably grateful for the gift of life, for creation, for everything in creation, for everyone in creation, for everywhere in creation, every atom of this cosmos. But above all, I'm grateful for the gift of super positivity, which has made me recognize the magic of gratitude in the first place. So, yes, I'm most grateful for super positivity.
Can you tell us about a negative situation or challenge in your life and how you transformed it into a super positive one?
So, Nidhi, 8 years ago, I wrote, produced, directed, and acted in a Bollywood film called Chalo Driver. And when it released on 20th July 2012, it was a colossal disaster, financial disaster. In the aftermath, I didn't just lose all the money and the savings, but I also went through divorce, personal humiliation, rejection, and colossal negativity was hurled at me from every angle. But that experience became the most transformative experience of my life because I embraced it with the entirety of my being. I started to, rather than run away from that experience, I started to process that experience and, become one with it. And I also resolved at that time that I have to overcome this phase to not just surmount the negativity in my life, but to present an example and a solution to anyone who's trying to cope with negativity or a challenge or distress. So, that resolve then grew into super positivity movement, which has become an instrument for us to inspire people all over the world to rise above negativity, to transcend negativity. So yeah, that was a personal setback which enabled me to realize the importance of positivity and subsequently super positivity to be the one stop solution for everything.
How wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank you, Vikrant. Who has inspired you the most in life? And what inspiration have you drawn from them?
So I consider myself to be an open source software of inspiration, as in I draw inspiration from everyone, everything and everywhere. But I would say it's the sum total. Whilst millions of people have inspired me in my life, but I draw the maximum inspiration from the universe, from the sum total of all experiences, situations, and creations in life. So the universe inspires me to be infinite, and it reminds me that I am the universe in human form. So all its properties reside in me. So being connected to my role model, my mentor, my eternal source, the universe, also becomes the fount of my super positivity.
What is the most positive action you've performed for someone else? And how did you feel after performing it?
So when I started super positivity movement, I resolved or in fact, even before when I had the revelation of super positivity, I resolved that I would share super positivity unlimitedly, unconditionally, and ever improvingly with the world. So, over the past 7 years, um, I've had the privilege and fortune of sharing super positivity with hundreds of thousands of people at over 1,200 engagements all over the world. And I've done it non commercially, like there hasn't been any uh, monetary input from any of these engagements. There hasn't been any instance where a person or a group has approached me, even in the middle of the night, like an SOS call, and I've not attended to that. Or there hasn't been a moment when I've not tried to improve upon myself in the way I'm sharing super positivity with the world. And now that I've been blessed to create super positivity platforms, so I apply that same improving, ever improvingness to these platforms as well. So the fact that I'm honoring these three caveats of that resolution, being unlimited, being unconditional, and being ever improving or forever more improving. So that I believe is the most super positive action that I've been blessed to perform. And I feel super awesome while I'm doing it and forever.
Brilliant.
Thank you.
What is your most positive health habit or you've seen in someone else?
So I am someone who is super conscious about the gift of life, magic of life. And I also feel very responsible that I have to uphold the sanctity of life on every plane of being, which includes health. So I eat very consciously, I eat moderately, and I eat at very, you know, sensible timings. But the one thing which I would consider to be my greatest health habit is an affirmation. Actually, I practice, and I've been practicing for years. And that affirmation is yes, I am super healthy forevermore. Yes, thank you, universe. So I say this affirmation hundreds of times every day to remind myself that health is not just the food that I'm eating or the exercise or the movement that I'm performing, but the very breath that I'm breathing, the very thought that I'm thinking, the very intent that I'm activating. So just by saying this, yes, I'm super healthy forevermore. Yes, thank you, universe, reminds me that every moment of my life has to be lived more healthfully than the previous one.
Lifestyle habit you have, or what is the most positive lifestyle habit you've seen in someone else?
So, the most positive lifestyle habit that I have is that I'm very conscious of every thought that I'm thinking and every breath that I'm breathing. And of course, it's taken years of training to get to this point. But yeah, I mean, my lifestyle habits emerge from my consciousness. So, just to be conscious of what I'm thinking, how I'm breathing, and how I'm being every momentile of my being. So that is my bestest lifestyle habit, my most positive lifestyle habit. Being super positive every momentile of my life.
What has been the most positive experience or event or accomplishment of your life?
So 7 years ago, I returned to my parents' house where I currently live in Jammu from Mumbai after the failure of the film. And in my attempt to overcome the negativity in my life and, you know, the limiting circumstances in my life, I did a continuous 40-hour meditation in which I had resolved, stepping into the meditation, I resolved that I would discover, I kind of had this intent that I would find a solution to that would address not just my negativity, but the negativity in the world in general. So halfway through that meditation, on 19th September 2013, early morning, I had this epiphany, as part of which these four magical words, they resonated in my inner being. Yes, thank you, universe. So during that meditation, there was there was a moment when just these four words they resonated and everything just stood still. And I had an experience which for all my articulation and you know words that I use, I might zero be able to express them to the fullest. It was such an uplifting and such a beautiful experience. So I now, consider my life before yes, thank you, universe, and post yes, thank you, universe. So yes, thank you, universe introduced me to super positivity. Like, wow, I'm as infinite as the universe. I have to be perpetually grateful to the universe and I have to be affirmative about life. Like it has to begin with every momentile. Sorry, when I say momentile, I say a fraction of every moment. So that's just my way of reminding myself that my consciousness also has to attend to fractions within every moment. So, yes, thank you, universe, has enabled me to attend to those momentiles. And the momentile when this occurred, when I had that epiphany, is the most positive experience of my life. And that is what I'm trying to share with the world, a complete oneness with infinity through super positive.
Thank you, Vikrant, for that.
Thank you.
What is the most positive book or a movie you've seen or a song you've heard in your life?
So when I was 12, a family friend of ours gifted me a book called The Power of Positive Thinking, Kanchan Devi. So she gifted me this book on my birthday, on my 12th birthday. And, I grew up in Jammu Kashmir and I still live there. So back in the day, it was a very challenging ecosystem for a child to be in because of the prevailing terrorism and insurgency. So that was the first time I was introduced to the concept of transforming your thought, the way of thinking, and then how that could impact your life. So I read that book, and it had such a profound impact on my being. And post that, I've read over 300 self-help books, self-improvement books, and I've written over 30 books on the subject of super positivity. But it was the power of positive thinking that set me on the path. So I would give fullest credit to Norman Vincent Peale and the book for that.
What do you resolve to change in yourself today so that the world becomes a more super positive place?
So I would love to be more attentive to more momentiles of my life, like attend to the smallest joys of being and joys of existing. You see, I've also been an actor, like not just a cinematic actor, but somebody who's acting throughout life, a doer. But I have come to the realization that it is in being that the highest level of doership is revealed. So I would love to be a much better beer than a doer. So I think in the being, the doing will shine and will improve as well. So I would love to now be in a state of greater balance because uh, as part of the super positivity movement over the past 7 years, I've traveled a lot, performed a lot of events and engagements. Um, so I would love to just be in a state of greater equilibrium and balance and attending to the smallest of joys and the smallest of momentiles, which is what I'm working towards more consciously. And now, as part of super positivity, I do make it a conscious endeavor to remind people to be in a state of balance and equilibrium, because honestly, that is the bestest way to be completely balanced. Yes, I would love to be more balanced and would love to inspire the world towards a greater sense of balance in life.
And finally, What is your super positive message to the world?
So, Nidhi, this question leads me to a question someone asked me many years ago. What is freedom? Or what is moksha? So that person had asked me. So I gave a spontaneous answer to that person that moksha or freedom is freedom from one's own negativity. It is not freedom from life, or it's not a post life state that we find. It's like while we're alive, while we're in this body, within the ecosystem, wherever we are, to be free from our own negativities, to go within, introspect and go deeply within, deep dive within oneself, find negativity, go to the root of negativity, and then, sort of transcend that negativity and eventually become free from your own negativity. Put concerted spotlight on that. And that is my super positive message to the world, that negativity is not in the world, it is within me and you. That is where we have to overcome it one person at a time. The more positive I become, the more positive the world around me becomes. The more super positive I become, the more super positive around me the world becomes. So, yeah, let each one of us be super positive forevermore.
Wow, Vikrant. Today's Super Positivity One on One was a super awesome experience. Thank you for reminding us that the more positive we become in life, the more beautiful life becomes, and the more awesome the world becomes. On that note, we wish you all a super awesome life forevermore. Yes, thank you, universe.
Yes, thank you.